I ask that each witness summarize his or her testimony in 5 minutes or less, and to help you stay with that time limit, there are lights in front of you, and you all know what they mean. So, Sheriff Hodgson, why don't you lead off? Press the button on your mic.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the committee, security guards, metal detectors, and scanners greeted me this morning as I walked into the Rayburn office building. These measures are in place to protect the safety of everyone inside. Most people are cleared pretty quickly and go about their business. It's the others who intend to do us harm, those who have no respect for our laws, that we have to worry about. It's those whom the Capitol Police must deny entry. We owe the same level of protection and safety to our legal residents. We must use all the tools in our toolboxes, share resources and intelligence, and truly restore enforcement of our nation's immigration laws for the safety and security of our citizens. Public safety is my #1 priority. Public safety is your #1 priority. Public safety is any government's and any government official's #1 priority. Public safety is what brings me here today. And there's arguably no bigger threat to public safety than illegal immigration. Mr. Chairman and esteemed members of this committee, I want to thank you for inviting me to testify this morning on what is perhaps the most dangerous threat to national security and the safety of all Americans. Good, thoughtful immigration law exists as enacted by legislators like you decades ago. However, if a law is not enforced, it's useless verbiage protecting no one and accomplishing nothing. As a sheriff for 20 years and a police officer for 6 more, I've spent my career enforcing laws. I have a sworn duty to uphold the Constitution of the United States and enforce all laws, whether I agree or disagree with them. Just as you took the oath of office to faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you entered. The law is what you and the courts say it is. But unfortunately, due to years of liberal policies tailored to non-enforcement, Congress now has to hold hearings on how to enforce laws that have been on the books for decades. Most of my law enforcement colleagues will agree that severe damage has been done to national security by lackadaisical enforcement, and the only thing we can do now is move forward and discuss how we can fix it. The fact is, our nation would be better off and our citizens would be safer if we never stopped enforcing immigration law and if we never formed or turned a blind eye towards sanctuary cities. Local, county, state, and federal law enforcement all working together to keep the public safe. Sharing resources and intelligence as much as possible, working together as one team with the simple goal of keeping the public safe. Our law enforcement team has an opposing team that consists of local officials, elected or appointed, who have created and advocated sanctuary cities, states, communities, and even colleges. These officials pledge not to work with, cooperate, or even communicate with federal immigration enforcement. As a result, these safe zones have become magnets for illegal aliens, some of which have violent criminal records. At best, sanctuary cities are a direct violation of trust between the legal residents and the elected officials who took an oath to protect them at all costs. At the worst, it's careless, illegal, and extremely dangerous. If these sanctuary cities are going to harbor and conceal criminal illegal aliens from ICE, which is in direct violation of Title VIII of the U.S. Code, federal arrest warrants should be issued for their elected officials. At a time when these officials are pledging to not work with federal law enforcement, I've doubled down on my commitment to partner with federal authorities and boost public safety by becoming the second organization in New England to enter into 287G. If there's one thing our country learned from 9/11, it's that all branches of law enforcement have to work together and share resources as much as possible. Under the 287G program, correctional officers in my department will become with the training de facto ICE agents to be able to perform all immigration-related actions. Our officers will be able to identify, process, detain, and assist in deportation of criminal illegal aliens in Bristol County. They also get access to the ICE database to identify criminal illegal alien enterprises. Instead of waiting for an ICE agent to drive hours to our facility for an immigration screening, at which time the suspect may be bailed out, our officers can check the databases, interview the suspect, and electronically communicate with ICE to keep dangerous criminals, illegal aliens off the streets and out of our neighborhoods. The Department of Homeland Security estimates more than 400,000 immigrants were identified for deportation through 287G programs between 2006 and 2015. About 13,000 foreign-born individuals were processed at our facilities in the past 5 years. This program can result in just one dangerous criminal, illegal alien not being able to commit another crime in the U.S. Deportation or detention, then it's a tremendous tool in our toolbox and a no-brainer in terms of public safety. I want to just inform the committee of something that was just reported this morning that I think completely underscores my point about immigration laws being undermined in the United States. We have a state representative in the 10th Plymouth District in Massachusetts, was just reported this morning, who learned that ICE may be coming to the city of Brockton in Plymouth County. Sent a message, all alert message out on Facebook telling everyone that ICE is going to be coming, and make sure you don't answer your doors, and make sure that you stay out of sight. This is the most outrageous thing that I think, or example of what is going on across the United States that's undermining my job and every other law enforcement officer in the United States to keep our communities safe. And that elected official who's responsible for protecting the welfare of the people of their communities needs to understand that they could be protecting someone who the ICE is looking for that may be possibly connected to terrorism, transnational gangs, or some other horrific criminal history that they've had. Thank you for the time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee.